Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 32. Today is December 12th, 2020. Today's guest is a good buddy of mine, Adam.
Hey, how's it going?
So this is going to be the first time that I do a full-on episode over the phone, only because of the whole coronavirus freaking lockdown bullshits. So if you guys can understand him, good. If not, bear with me. I'll work on getting the kinks later. But for right now, Adam, you're my first test over the phone. Well, technically, Evan's girl was the first time to test it out over the phone, but you're gonna be the first full-on conversation.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
And so, Adam, first, you know how I like to do this. I like to introduce you first to the public and get them to know you first. Adam came into the sales department, I think, pretty close around the time that I was leaving, right?
Yeah, I came in November 2017.
November 2017. Okay, in November 2017, I was already over here. I was already in knocking sales in Azusa for this side of town. So then that means I never really got to work with you out there in Santa Barbara.
No. I think I met you at Scotty's service, actually.
Oh, okay. And I mean, like I said, we treat the guys, all of us get together. You heard what Terry and Mark said. Hey, Andres kind of keeps us together. We try to be like a family. The kids call you guys the family, the Allied family. So when we go to Oxnard, they're like, well, are we going to see the Allied family too? That's why I send out those group texts, because these kids freaking love everybody, and try to keep us all together. We're like I keep telling the guys out here in this side of town, it's like we were all very united out there, but we also did all live a lot closer. Well, not you and Forrest. You and Forrest in Santa Barbara, which is what, like an hour from Chris's house?
Yeah, pretty much hour from there, hour from Ventura. So it's kind of a long drive, but it's always worth it.
Yeah, so the kids always like to go out there and see everybody. But yeah, I never really got to work with you, and I just know that you were the man to fill some really big shoes.
Yeah, it was pretty daunting when I took over that route, and it was kind of in the wake of a lot of chaos. I mean, what happened to Scott was very sudden. No one saw it coming.
Yeah, freaking. He was training you on his route before he actually went to go start his new role.
Correct. Yeah, I was working the FSR position out there, and on days where I was able to pull some stops ahead, I would be able to go work with him, and we got to know each other.
Yeah, Scotty was a really good man. So you had
great guy.
Yeah, so you had some really big shoes to fill, meaning when it comes to the route that he used to run for 4 or 5 years, he had it what we call dialed in pretty much. Everyone was putty in his hands,
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, even taking over that route, everybody was like, expect you to take care of me, because Scott would work long hours to make sure that everybody was taken care of, and I actually did a couple of I helped him a little bit by rolling some beer if he ever underordered somebody and he was short on time. I helped him roll stuff from one account to the other, and pretty much every single one of those store owners were just like, yeah, I know he's good for it, we'll be able to swap it out. So it was no big deal.
Yeah, there was no, Scotty would never go back on his word. So, but yeah, man, how's it been for you on that route since he's been gone?
I mean, when I first started, it was kind of like the blind leading the blind, because we had some of the soups up there, and they kind of knew the area, but they just didn't know the stores as intimately as Scott did. So, I mean, it was rocky going at first. There were a couple of receivers who were micromanaging every single order. But I've been on the route, 2 years now? So I think I've got it down pretty well.
And the beautiful thing is that the beautiful thing about sales is once you get these people to believe your orders, they'll back off. They'll leave you alone. They won't even they won't even want to go line by line with you on what you're ordering. They just let you do your thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what makes Adam, man? What brings you to Santa Barbara? You're not from California, right?
Actually, I am from California.
Oh, you are from California.
From the Bay Area. Yep.
Okay.
California.
Up north somewhere. Gotcha.
Yeah, up north.
What brings you down to Santa Barbara from San Francisco?
Well, my fiance, she got into UCSB over in the graduate department over here, and so she wanted to come here. I was looking for a change of pace before working this job. We had been teaching English over in Japan for about 2.5 years,
What?
so wanted to get a little change of pace. Teaching, I know in the States, is a little bit more rough. Less respect, lower pay, so I was kind of looking for something else. Knew that I was interested in the beer industry, so I took the first step, got certified as a beer server in the Cicerone program,
There you
and
go.
then applied to Allied.
How was the whole Japan thing experience? I didn't know that about you. I mean I knew you've gone to different countries, but I didn't know you were a teacher in Japan.
Oh yeah, it was after I graduated undergraduate. Graduated with a literature degree, so not too many avenues. I was working with a beer server or a waiter job over at a restaurant, and partially did bar back. And it wasn't really going anywhere. Wasn't a lot of upward mobility because it was kind of a mom and pop shop. So took a chance at teaching English because all you needed was an undergrad degree and just a willingness to go live in another country. And I know I loved it. It was great. I have family out there in like the Hiroshima area, which is like southern Japan. But we were living in Osaka, which is West Japan. And it was a great time, man. It's a very different culture. The counterculture streak that exists in the U.S., where there's a little bit more, how do you say, insurrection towards some of the laws, is very different. Like, no, everybody plays by the book. The social norm and everything, the trains are extremely quiet, whereas if you go into like a subway in New York, everybody's loud and rowdy, or people are playing music or dancing on the subway. No, it's dead quiet on the subway.
No, that's cool, man. How long were you out there in Japan for?
2.5 years.
Because you're still young. You're still you're not even 30 yet, right?
Nope, just turned 29.
Just turned 20. You're still a baby, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, baby.
still got a lot to learn.
No, that's cool, man. And even me, dude. Even me. I had the internet guy come over to the house a couple weeks ago, and he was like, just me, watching everything he did is like, just like you learn something new every day. So I took what he did a few weeks ago to the routers on the wall, and I implemented that into what I was doing in the garage to make sure that everything was aligned and leveled and shit. I was like, I would have never assumed to do that. I'm like, duh. So I did learn something. It's like those little the jacks with multiple outlets, and you have to they have the two little holes in the back for a screw, and you can pin them on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a little piece of cardboard, and he aligned he marked on the cardboard where the two holes were. So then he got that like a marker. Then he used that piece of cardboard, put it on the wall, and then marked the wall, and then and there you go. I would have never, even though it sounds so simple, I would have never assumed to do something like that. It's like, oh man, I've been struggling this whole time.
Yeah, it's a creative way to do it, and I think it's important to always be open to learning something new or learning a new way of doing it. So
Yeah, man. So like that, but that's pretty cool that you've happened to be a teacher out in Japan. Now you said you have family out there.
yeah, so I am half Japanese on my mom's side. My dad is like a mixture of different European descents. But my grandmother was the first generation born in the United States. My mother was the second, and I'm the third.
Damn it! I didn't know that, man. I just thought you were some white boy.
I definitely present as very white. I have, very distinct Anglo-Saxon features. So I get that.
No, that's cool, man. But no, you came around, like I said, you came around to these barbecues with Chris and Tala, and then I think Tracy was to a couple, and then Mark and Terry, and I'm trying to go along the list so I don't forget anybody. Forrest, and who else? Who else am I forgetting, man? Who else am I forgetting? You came along to these barbecues without really knowing us, and that was cool. And even though my kids the other day were like, "Who's Adam?"
I know, I was a little hurt by that. I was like, oh, come on. I
Yeah, who's
understand. We'd only met in person like twice.
who's
Coronavirus
who's
thing has kind of
Adam?
thrown a wrench in it.
Yeah. But nah, you're a good sport, man. I like it when we're playing Call of Duty and you don't even say anything, and I'm just telling my wife, well, Adam is saying this and Adam is saying that, and you're like laughing. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But my wife,
I know it's all in good fun.
no, my wife knows exactly that I'm just bullshit. She knows that if I say, well, Adam said this about you, she's not going to believe me for shit. So I just love hearing like your reaction. Like, no, I didn't. Or when Chris is the same thing, and like, well, Chris needs us. You know, he needs me to play. And dude, how long is it gonna take for your wife to believe shit like that? So
I mean, it sounds like she's already wised up to it. So
yeah, she 100% does not she does not believe it. So you guys can feel fine about she does not believe the shit that comes out of my mouth. So which gets me to the next point. So a few podcasts ago, I told the world that you like to steal wallets.
oh my god, just clear defamation. I do not like to do that.
Dude, that's not what my listeners are hearing, bro.
Gee, I wonder where that rumor
I
started.
have no idea, bro. I wasn't me, man. All I said was my wallet was in the car, and then no, you know what though? But like the thing is that I don't have anything written down when I record these podcasts, so it's just me. Like right now, since I reorganized my garage a few weeks ago, it's like I'm literally pinned against the wall right now in my desk, and I have a TV on the wall now, and I have 2 notepads right here next to me, but I write nothing in them. It's just me going based off of memory. So when I'm recording and something comes up and I want to kind of throw in a joke, literally it's the first name that comes to mind. So you have to be honored that I called you a wallet stealing criminal.
I mean, it means I'm front of mind for you.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like I could have picked anybody else, but like this is like the first name that pops into my mind, and it's like well, my wallet. Like, oh, Adam, Adam steals wallets. And then just keep on going with the joke. And it's funny because I tell you guys, I was talking smack on the podcast, and it gets you guys to listen.
Oh yeah, I mean, I started listening before that. It was a little bit slower, but you're like, hey man, I told some people that you were a wallet stealer in this episode. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta listen faster. Like, how many of these can I get through in a day?
So no, that's pretty good. And like I said, it's just you're a sport about it, man. You're like, that shit I say is not true, and it's like when it comes to jokes like that, like I would never really mean that you're a wallet stealer, even though it's pretty expensive to live in Santa Barbara.
It's insanely expensive to live out here. We got lucky because of the family student housing thing, so we count our blessings every day. But
and are you still?
I would not be able to afford it.
Are you still going to school? And your girl still going to school?
I mean, I consider myself an eternal student, but yeah, my fiance is still going to school. I'm doing my own sort of like personal research on the side, but nothing like within school. I'm done with school.
There you go. There you go. You're stuck to the beer business now.
Oh yeah.
But so this morning I wake up with an idea for a podcast because I've been wanting to have you on here for a while now, and I had an idea for a podcast for me to get kind of more personal, because that's obviously what the podcast is about. To for people to learn from our mistakes. And I feel that there is a story that I've never really mentioned or told to a lot of people. I don't even think my wife knows this story. I don't think I ever told her, but I was very very irresponsible, very very childish, very not a very nice person. So a long time, and this came up with the idea because I was making fun of you about stealing wallets. So this is why the idea popped into my brain. Again, I've never really have mentioned stuff like this to anybody, and you guys will probably be like judgmental fucks. But just kidding.
Oh, come on.
Just kidding.
I've done some shady stuff too. So if you share yours,
there we go.
fine.
Let's go then. So, I mean, when you're a kid, dude, and you see other kids having like the best things, it's like it's envy, it's jealousy, and as a kid, if I'm not being taught the proper ways, then obviously I'm not going to learn the right things to do, what not to do, what to do, what not to do. And so obviously I know a friend of mine that they listen to I know he listens to the podcast, and if he thinks about it, he puts his two and two together. He's gonna be like, "Shit, that was him." So we would always go to, my mom always went to her comadre's houses and stuff. It's like this is why I hate going out and about. This is why I'd rather stay home, because if she said we're gonna go to the store, only the store, and no, we ended up going to this comadre, that comadre, this comadre. So there goes the whole day, and so we would go to this one particular comadre, and she had, kids that were my age that I've known since the third grade. And whenever I saw something nice in their room, nice and shiny, then obviously I would take it. And sometimes it was like those little calculator watches. Remember those calculator watches from back in the day? Or are you not that young?
The Casio ones.
You're not that old.
No,
right?
I've seen those digital display.
Yeah.
Got, like all the numbers on. Yeah.
So
Speed, man.
Stuff pretty much stuff that would fit in my pocket. Every time we went in there, we took something. I took something, and I'm not very proud of that. That's not something that I should have done. And like I said, if they listen to this podcast, this episode, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, it was you," or they've always known but never said nothing about it. They never said anything, because we're all kids, and that was bad. That was bad. As a kid, you go to the store and you would, I would pickpocket shit, like take this and take that. I remember this one time. This one grocery store in La Colonia, I think it was Bob's Market or Ben's Market. And those of you that are from La Colonia and my age will know where Ben's Market was at. There was family-owned grocery store, tiny little grocery store, like a little mom and pop's type thing. And those people were really cool, really nice. And I would, they had the ice cream machine like literally right at the exit. So, I would pop in there and grab an ice cream here and there, which was, again, no bueno. Again, a kid, but when you're not being taught right from wrong, then you don't give a shit. So then you get into the more like, this is around, like I said, I'm a kid. Then I hit like teenage, 8th grade. And I don't consider this stealing because people do it all the time. They're over here panhandling and asking for change and shit. But to me, because I would lie to people on why I needed to change, is why I consider it stealing. I would pretend that I'm lost in La Colonia, dude. And freaking, this place is like, it was ghetto back in the day. I would pretend to be lost. And I would ask people, hey, I really need to call my mom. And I need to use this public phone, but can I have a quarter? And I would make enough change to where I would go inside the store and buy me like a Snickers bar or something. So to me, that wasn't, to me it was stealing because I was lying to them. But
I get that. Yeah.
That was just me.
Especially, I don't know if you, growing up, I mean, did you ever get an allowance? Because I kind of did similar stuff. It was mostly, Vons Safeway up there in the Bay Area. Never got an allowance from my parents, but it's like, hey, I'm hungry after school. Like, I went in, knew they weren't going to chase me, so I just pocket something and walk out. And it's not great, man.
No, it's a horrible feeling. And no, back then there was no allowance. Like I said, my mom, I just not putting her on blast, but this is me. I learned from that. I've learned from her mistakes. She always had us, living from place to place, and I lived in and out of the colonia like pretty much up until like high school. After high school, we never stepped foot in there because it got a little bit more dangerous. And since I'm a hardcore Dallas Cowboy fan, anybody wearing Dallas Cowboy gear in La Colonia would probably be shot at by someone else. Because,
I heard about that in one of your
podcasts. So, she pretty much, okay, now I have teenage kids. That's the one smart thing she did. She got us out of there. But no allowance. Like, I just literally told my wife this morning something like, dude, my mom had us living in hotel to hotel. Like, can you please, when I say something or when I do something or when I get anal about something, please don't make me have to explain why. Just know there's a reason behind it. And, and I had to explain to her something that was really personal on why I do certain things, and she kind of got it. But no allowance. And, secondhand stores were the best ones to go to and pickpocket shit. Secondhand stores were were the best. And so then...
Yeah, usually people don't really pay attention.
No. No. I have a big box of cables that I used to always go, oh, I need this cable, I need this cable, I need this cable. But yeah, no allowance, and then you get into your early adult days, and now things get a little bit more bigger. No more ice cream bars, no more ice cream chocolate sandwiches, whatever. It's bigger things now. So I worked at multiple retail stores. This is already in my early 20s, so multiple retail stores, and where like I would see something I liked, and it's like, oh, instead of buying it, I would, pickpocket it. I think at one point I had like surveillance cameras in my house because I took that too.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So like I said, dude, it was bad, dude. It was bad. And then I think the worst one, then I had, okay, I'll get to the worst one after that. The next one was I had a someone I didn't really know that well, but we would go to like a grocery store, and they have like a little, a bunch, all the grocery stores like have like a DVD section. Well, this store had a
like dollar DVDs.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, but this store had like its own little department of only like DVDs and those disposable cameras, like high end items that needed to be watched. Like at Walmart, they have like an aisle 10, and that's where people go and get their cigarettes and stuff like that. So this is what they did. Exactly, the cigarettes area, they had DVDs there, and the guy would sell me the DVDs for not the right price. I had all freaking 6 Star Wars movies I only paid $15 for. I had the Indiana Jones DVDs and only paid like $10. And that's how I came up with most of my DVDs, were through him. And trust me, buddy, I'll get to the end. I believe in karma 100% after this. So there's that. Then the worst one that will till this day kind of haunts me is I can't even call him a buddy anymore because I don't even know what happened to him. This guy in college sold me a 91 Honda Accord, 91 Honda Accord. Really nice car, nice and clean. I made him the first payment of $700. I still needed about $3,000 to go. Do you think I gave him the $3,000?
I mean, I'd like to think you would, but just judging from the previous story, it doesn't sound like that happened.
I didn't give him the $3,000, bro. I hid from him. I made sure that he never found me again. I wasn't a very good person. So this was up until... No, it gets worse, but I still keep going. Never mind. That wasn't the worst one. So when I ended up going to jail for the first time, the mother of my kids took off in that car, and she was speeding down the 126.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she got pulled over. I lost the car. There goes karma number one. I lose my car. It's gone. Karma number two. While I'm in jail, she has nothing to eat. So she sends her sister to sell all my DVDs. Dude, I paid hundreds of dollars. Even though I didn't fully pay for the movies, I still had over hundreds of dollars worth of DVDs. This is back in 2005. Dude, they gave her only $80 for my DVD collection, and the sister jacked her for the money.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so there's karma number two. So trust me, buddy, I freaking believe in karma. So now I come out of jail. I'm out on bail, and we're pretty much getting kicked out because nobody paid the rent, and I think this is the worst one. This is worse than the car. So we have nowhere to live after the first. So I pretend to be the landlord of the apartment, and I start renting the apartment to random, like the field workers, the people, the seasonal workers, the ones that come in for like 6 months, then they go to upstate, then they come down, those kind of workers. I pretend to be the landlord, and I rent them their money. I rent them the apartment, and I pretty much take the money up front. I did that multiple times to multiple people. They got me the deposit and the first month's rent for another apartment to be able to have somewhere to live. So I pretty much ripped off these people so that I can have somewhere to live. Again, done. That's over with. We end up going to the new apartment. I think like maybe since I'm out on probation. Since I'm out on bail, obviously the police have my information. They have my photo of me or whatever. One of these couples that weren't your regular seasonal workers actually had the balls to go to the police. And I get a phone call
Oh
from,
shit.
yeah, I get a phone call from a detective one day, and they're like, hey, are you Mr. Martinez? And I'm like, yeah, how can I help you? They're like, well, can you come into the office, please? We need to speak to you. I'm like, well, what about? They're like, Grand Theft. And because of the game Grand Theft Auto, I thought, I'm like, I haven't stolen no freaking car. That's the first thing that came to mind. And they, no, Grand Theft. You stole money from people. And I'm shitting bricks, dude. I'm like, fuck, that's it. I'm going back to jail. I'm out on probation. I'm out on parole. I'm sorry. I'm out on bail, and I'm over here doing this stupid shit. And luckily, the mother of my kids ended up getting her like income tax check right there and then. So I'm like, dude, if we pay them their money back, will they drop the charges? And they're like, yeah. They said if you give them their money back, they'll drop the charges, because obviously these people moved into the apartment, and then the real landlord comes in and is like, well, bullshit. You guys don't live here. You got no.
Yeah,
and
what the hell's going on?
Exactly. So they're like, what? They get kicked out, obviously, because they're like, we're not the landlord. They weren't the landlords. So the mother of my kids goes to the police department in Oxnard and gives them their money, and they drop the charges there and then. So that's it. That was done. Pretty much the days of waking up have arrived. I need to start waking up. I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm doing stupid shit to people because of my own selfish pity bullshit, because I can't get my shit together. So luckily, they, like I said, they dropped the charges. Nothing happened. They let me go. They didn't bother me anymore. Then I continued my jail bullshit, and then in 06 I ended up going back into jail and doing pretty much the time for the crime that I did in 05 for, the domestic violence. And after that, dude, it was after I got released, it was a pain in the ass to get a job. I 100% believed in karma. I 100% believed in karma that, yeah, dude, this is what you do in the past is going to come back and bite you in the ass. At first, I never caught it, but then as I start thinking about it, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't pay off the car. I lost it. I didn't pay off those DVDs. I lost them. I didn't pay for this apartment. I lost it. You know what I mean? It's like everything you did shady, it comes back and bites you in the ass. It's like with me, I even lost my license, dude. It's like I lost everything in 08 when the economy hit bad. I lost the company I was working for. They had to shut down. I had no job. That's when I went 2.5 years without working.
Jeez.
That was it. I was done, and I'm like, this is karma. After that, after 2 years not working, obviously I'm not with the mother of my kids anymore, and I'm like, in 2010, that's when I'm like, the economy hit bad in 2008, 2010. I'm freaking, don't know what the hell to do. I'm like fighting with the mother of my kids for the kids, and being homeless. You can't really impress a judge and saying, hey, no, you can't have your kids because you don't have anywhere to live. Or like I said, depression hit really bad, and I couldn't trust her anymore. My family, I didn't know who to run to anymore. So that's when I tried to kill myself, because I had nothing really going for myself. But again, I believed 100% in karma.
Well, and on the flip side of that, like, you accrued all of that bad karma, and it sounds like you paid it back.
Yeah.
And we know how it's going so far on this back end, and dude, you've really switched it around.
Yeah,
it seems like you paid back your dues.
It's like I don't even think I've ever told my wife this, because it's like this is something you hide in the bag. You bury it and it's gone. You bury it. There's a friend of mine that, again, I can't call him friend if they don't answer their phones. I borrowed some money from him, and I only give him partial of it. And well, technically, I borrowed this because my mom needed it, whatever. You know what I mean? So I never paid him that back, and I tried going back to find him and give him his money. I found his Facebook. He never responded. I even wrote to him when I was in jail, hey, I'm sorry, and you don't know what you have until you lose it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I did, for good, up in 2005 or early 2006 when I said I gotta grow up, and then I start growing up, and then I lose everything again. Like, no, karma is saying I still owe him, or I still owe her, whatever karma is. If I go and get me another car, she's saying, boo, nope, take that car back because you technically still owe me a car. Because one day I was driving without a license. Actually, it was before your cell phones and the GPSs and all that good stuff. And the company that I was working for that went out of business wanted me to drive to West Covina. Now I know my way around West Covina. Now I can get to somewhere, but not back then. And so I ended up making a right turn when it said no right turn on a light. So I got pulled over. I lost the company truck, dude. Yeah, the company truck got towed because I was driving without a license. And, so that, and well, I didn't lose my job, but, karma said, I'm not done with you, my friend. I'm not done with you. So after, like I said, after a few months of that company went down. And this is a company that I told you a while back that it's the one that I used to run Fios internet cable through the light poles and stuff like that. And there was a couple boxes in Camarillo and a couple boxes in Oxnard that I actually helped put those boxes there. So every time we go to Oxnard, my kids are like, yeah, Dad, we know you put that there.
Just my box.
Yeah, I'm just making sure you guys are aware. I put that there. Yes, Dad, we know. But like I said, man, karma wasn't done with me, dude. She let me have it, dude. And I think it didn't take until like 2011 for me to start getting stuff back, start getting my shit back. So what did I do? I ended up buying this broken down Honda CRV, Honda Civic from a cousin of mine. Everybody told me I overpaid for that car because it was broken down, but I didn't care because first I was walking everywhere. Then I got my little job at Walmart. So then I was walking. Then I got on the bus. Then I got a bike. Then I got my little car. So I was proud of the little car. Whether my cousin overcharged me for the car or not, I was proud to say that I bought it fully. This guy wanted $1,000. I didn't give him $700. I gave him $1,000. And then I had to pay to get the engine redone or the heads. I think the heads needed to be redone, whatever. But I did that. I accomplished that. But right before that, I ended up getting my license back. I got my license back. And like I said, the car. And, I was happy. I was happy that I was able to accomplish these things little by little, back, getting my life back. Then when I was working at Walmart, you know how they have the door greeters?
Yeah.
So this guy would check my bag, and there's nothing in my bag, sir. And I get it. This is karma talking to me again. So I turned around and I responded to that guy and I told him, not even that $8,000 TV you have in the back is worth me losing my job.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Dude, not once did he check my bag after that. Because I made that comment. Because I nothing is worth me losing my, not even Walmart, a TV, nothing. I'm not shoplifting. Because what made me kind of like being homeless, for being broke for being broke for 2.5 years, not having a job, sleeping in a friend's kitchen, and then telling my kids that I couldn't afford something, not even a pack of gum, kind of sucked. The moment I went to go file for food stamps was the day that I said, this is ridiculous. I'm a grown-ass man collecting food stamps. Dude, no joke. When I started working at Walmart, I called them and I said, hey, I'm going to start working at this day. You guys can cancel that. They're like, no, we need to go. I don't need it. I don't want it. Give it to somebody else that needs it more than I do. Because I got it. I got my shit back. I'm going to work to get my shit back.
Yeah. And you made yourself accountable for it.
Exactly.
I think that's huge.
Even working at Walmart, I started overnights, and they're like, and then I started, over there at Walmart, they have these things called remix. They're like remix pallets. These pallets that come off the truck already built. Because for those of you that work at Walmart, when you unload a truck, you unload the truck box per box, box by box. If it says 2,500 boxes, that's what you're unloading, box by box.
God.
Yes.
No drop and go?
I did that. No, I did that at Target and I did it at Walmart. So they came in these boxes, these pallets that were called remix, meaning that's how they came built. They're ready to go. They're fresh freight, work them, and then send them back. And this is how well I made sure that I don't even like calling in sick. And so I made sure that this pallet, that I did my job right, where the receiver was like, hey, these pallets won't work. Yes, they were. I worked those pallets. So who wrapped them? I did. No. These are dude, I'm not playing with you. I worked these pallets. They're good to go. And then I had to get a manager to come tell him, yeah, Andres worked these pallets. Well, who wrapped them? Andres did. Ah, okay. And then I would work in a different department, and one of the guys even told me, hey, slow down. You're making me look bad. My response was, I'm making me look good.
Yeah.
You know, so again, this is me just freaking hustling, dude. I think I did overnights for 4 months, and then they moved me to days. I was in days for 3 months, and then they promoted me to manager. And that's it, dude. And me as a manager, that's when I met Chris, because I was, Power Trip Andy.
Yep.
You know,
making him wipe off the syrup packets.
Oh yeah. So, like I said, I've come from that way of living and thinking that never again. No joke. I was in recently. I was in one of my accounts, and they had a freaking case of peanut butter cups in the fridge. In the fridge. And I grabbed one and I ate one, and I'm doing my thing, blah, 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 blah. And then I go back into my car. I come back inside, and here you go. They're like, what's that for? I just ate one of your Kisses inside, one of your Reese's Pieces in the fridge. They're like, oh, we would have never known. I'm like, but I would have. And they would have bugged the shit out of me. I ate it knowing that I had the funds in my car to pay for that Reese's peanut butter cup. They're like, okay, cool. Now I have an account that every Thursday I go to. He has this little baggie of candies, and he says, Andy, boom, take one. Take the whole bag if you want. And if I take this bag, I'm going to eat the entire thing. So for the past month, he's had a bag there and said, take your 2 candies a day. Like pretty much. Do you see how the shit works? How it works, man? I used to steal candies, and now they're giving it to me.
For free, yeah. No, it's one of those things where it's like you built trust with them because you showed that you are good for it. And now they're taking care of you. Yeah.
So again, back to my car. I was very proud of my car, whether I overpaid or not. The little things that I have, whether I overpaid or not, like my wife said, hey, we kind of need new sofas, and I'm like, no, those sofas started building my credit. Because I went to like my PlayStation and those sofas, I went to like those places called Aaron's, and like Auto, like Rent-A-Center, and this place was called Aaron's. Okay. I went there and I grabbed my PlayStation 4 and I made monthly payments for a whole year. Was I overcharged? Yes, but that's what you got when you freaking fucked up your credit. That's when you fuck up, when you fucked other people over. So overpaid for the sofas, overpaid for the PlayStation, but then I get a thing called, hey, credit score. What do you mean credit score? What do you mean credit score? Oh, because you bought stuff at Aaron's and you paid them off, it boosted your credit score. I'm like, what? So now I got Capital One that's offering me $300. This is back in 2011, 2012. Capital One's offering me $3. Dude, $300, I'm sorry. $300, I was freaking happiest kid alive. Like, really? They're going to give me $300? Well, they're not going to give me $300, but they're going to, no joke.
They're going to lend that out to you.
Yeah, exactly. No joke, Adam. The other day I checked my Capital One card for the payments. They said, congratulations, we boosted you another $500.
Nice.
I went from $300 to $3,000 because people trust me. Yeah. Compared to those ugly years up until 2005 or 2006 when I said, fuck this, I can't do this anymore. Karma is kicking me where it hurts. It just stomping me down, and I'm continuing to dig my own hole. Because why? Because I want to freaking not be an adult and be responsible and fucking... It was ugly, man. It was ugly.
Yeah, well, and it's some people never learn their lesson from doing that.
Yeah.
And they keep wondering why they get bad luck.
Yeah, no, dude. Honestly, karma's I believe in karma 100%, dude. You know what got me into that was that show. My Name Is Earl.
Oh yeah.
Then that show kind of like, dude, he's fucking right, man. Then I started thinking, when I started watching this show back in like 2010. That's when I started thinking about it. I was like, fuck, I lost my car because of that. I lost my movies because of that. I've lost all this because of that. I lost my freedom. I lost my license. I lost everything. And that one where they call me to tell me, hey, Grand Theft, my friend, like, no, I ripped off people. Yes, that was fucked up. And like I said, now it's like when I told the kids, like back in the days where I couldn't even afford a pack of gum, I told them, I promised myself that I would never say I can't afford it anymore. I can't afford it. No joke.
You know, it's I think the better mentality to take, you know, after all that, it's how can you afford it? Like, what can you do? What hustle can you bring to be able to afford that thing? And I mean, dude, you own a house now.
Yeah. I don't own it, but I paid every single bill here. So when I first moved over here, I told the mother I told my mother-in-law that I was gonna switch every single bill over to my name, and that I was gonna pay every single bill. So I pay the water, I pay the trash, I pay the gas, I pay the electricity, I pay everything, because like I told my wife, I don't want her to come back and say, hey, you used the water a little too much. That's just not who I don't want to hear it. I know, and I'm gonna pay it. That's my responsibility as an adult. It is my job to pay everything. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I have a spreadsheet that I create every 3 months that tells me what bill needs to get paid with what check. And obviously, we don't get paid exactly on the 1st and the 15th and the 30th. Those numbers change. Yeah. So every 3 months, I make sure that I update that. Okay, we're going to get paid on the 4th today, and this bill is due on the 5th. Compared to, we're going to get paid on the 6th, but the bill is due on the 5th. So that means that the check from the 20-something needs to pay this bill. Yeah. And that's the one thing my credit score shows me. On-time payments, 100%.
Mm-hmm. That fiscal responsibility pays back.
Exactly. So right now, like I said, I'm grateful to have TVs on my wall. It's funny because I was talking. What happened?
Multiple. That's crazy.
It's harder not having you here because I can't see your facial expression or when you're gonna start talking. So if I'm gonna interrupt you, my bad. But
no, I get that. I mean, there's no cues for us to go off of except for like when we pause. So
exactly.
No worries.
I even talked to my brother a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, "Dude, I got a bank account." And he's what? I'm 28. I'm 38. He's 28. So he's like, "Dude, I got a bank account." I'm like, "Dude, I know. When I got mine back in 11 or in 09, it felt amazing. It's like just having a bank account. Even though I had no. I'm sorry. I'm off of my math. It was in 11 when I got that bank account. Even though just having a bank account was like amazing. It's like to us growing up the way we did. It was like a luxury, and that's the one thing. That's what he said too. It's a luxury. So yeah, dude. Right now, like, you know, people kind of bash on Bank of America, but guess what? I've had that account for 9-10 years, and it's taken care of me, and it's giving me a credit card, and you know, I'm on top of the bills, and someone trusted me and with money, and that was Bank of America, and I'm solid right now, man.
Yeah. It's one of those things that people, you know, if you grow up with it, you take it for granted until you hear, you know, I think you had told me that your Social Security was getting used for taking out loans and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that kind of puts you behind the 8 ball, but like now you got everything on track, and I mean, that's great.
Yeah, dude. I when I tell people, it's like, hey, you know, I did this when I was younger, they don't believe it because they know me from now. You know, they know me, like when I tell somebody, hey, I try to kill myself. That's why I have a podcast, because I have stories to talk about. They don't believe that because they see me always so cheerful and so happy. You know, but it feels good, dude, to be able to pay for your own shit. It feels good. Yeah. And look at, for example, the TVs that I have. I didn't buy those TVs. You know, they gave them to me from work. In fact, actually, I lied. I bought a PlayStation 3 in errands. The PlayStation 4 was given to me from one of the beer suppliers. It was yeah, the PlayStation 4 was given to me from the beer supplier. Then the TVs were given to me from my company. Then iPads, and and what else? We have speakers, and look at my employee of the year. Like, just everything that I lost, I'm getting back because I'm doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So, yes, karma is a bitch, and she will take everything from you.
So don't piss her off.
So don't piss her off. I was going to say karma's a bitch for the title, but I think I'm going to go with don't piss her off.
Hey, happy wife, happy life, baby.
Well, not karma. No, you're right. Happy karma, happy life. So, but I'm just grateful, dude.
Yeah, and you have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, going through what you went through, man, that's rough stuff.
Yeah, some people don't believe it, but yeah.
No, I mean, a little bit opposite end for me. I mean, growing up, middle class, I mean, we had stuff. It was more just, I was kind of a dick growing up. My parents were pretty laissez-faire with how they raised me. A bit of hippies, so hands off, let me learn my own lessons. And yeah, like you know, when I saw something as a young kid, didn't have an allowance, you know, I took it.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, started running with some of the wrong people, started getting into smoking pot. That led into, you know, eventually selling it, and, you know,
and stealing wallets.
Not something I'm proud of. Never went to that, but yeah, definitely was not proud of that. And, you know, going into college, it was something that I kind of did to make some extra money on the side, but it never paid off.
I've actually eliminated friends this way, because the way I see it, and I think I said it in the episode my daughter was on, was that the older you get, the better in life you're supposed to get.
Absolutely.
And I still see friends struggling. I see friends, they lost their kids, and like, what do you talk? You're in your 30s, 40s, and you're still on your same bullshit. You lost your kids because you're on your same bullshit. It's like, I can't. I mean, I don't tell them that, and I don't know if they listen to my podcast and they say, "Oh, he's talking about me," but I'm sorry, but yeah, that's why I distance myself from certain people. It's like, the older you get, the more down you go. No, I mean, that's not me judging. That's just me eliminating myself from negativity, or myself eliminating from other people's problems. It's like when you're watching the news, people that watch the news get depressed. They're always depressed because they watch the news. Me hanging around with people that continue to go down and down and down was making me depressed. So I have to keep myself away from these people.
Well, yeah, it is hard. You are the company that you keep.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, I was keeping the wrong company and realized that. Decided to get out of it before it got bad. And yeah, luckily I got out just before, you know, some people got caught.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson, man, and yeah.
Yep. We all have to learn. We all, and that's what they say. It's like some people won't grow out of that. And I'm glad, and I thank God that I did. You know.
Well, yeah, you know, you want every single year to be your best year.
Exactly.
All the way through.
Exactly. Well, buddy, I'm glad I finally got you on here. Glad that you finally made an appearance on the podcast. It's not in person like we planned on being, but it is what it is. You're here, and like I end every podcast. Thank you for riding with me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.